Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming back to the Live to Roll channel. I am your host for the day, Brianna Wheeler. We are back with another women's disability show, and today we are talking about quad tips and tools. So I think this is very important. There are quads that have different mobility functions than paras. They usually have higher function, and paras have lower function. Um, so I think it's very important to talk about the difference of tips and tools and what they do in the beginning and how they got through it, because although how we feel is often the same way, what we go through is very different. So I like to connect girls that are the same levels. I think that's very important so that you can learn specific transferring tips, specific ways to hold your makeup brush, just specific I can't talk, specific ways to do things. So I think this is so important, and I'm excited to talk to these lovely ladies today. So we're going to get started on introductions. My name is Brianna. I have been injured for 5 years. I am a paraplegic, so I'm a T12 through L5, and I was wrongfully shot. Let's go to Tammy.
Hi guys, I am a C4 C5 quadriplegic. It's been 13 years for me, and I was injured through a car accident.
Thank you. And let's go to Janine.
Hello, I'm Ganine. I'm from Denver. I'm a C4, C6 quadriplegic, and actually, yesterday was my second year anniversary, so fairly new to this.
Yes, that's so exciting. When I saw that, I was like, wow, that's so crazy how God works, because I feel like you really needed this push. You're absolutely stunning. And I feel like in the beginning, we feel so closed off and we feel so, we don't really know our style. We don't really know how to feel confident in our chair, with these big old wheels attached to us. And it's very
Oh, yeah.
hard to take pictures. Yeah,
It's
and post it to the
yeah.
public and be vulnerable, and still feel sexy and still feel beautiful. But I'm here to tell you that you are absolutely stunning, and it's
I
whether you're
appreciate
taking selfies or whether you're showing your wheelchair, you makes you unique, and so I think that's so important, and I think it's so cool that you got to do this on your second life day.
I know I'm pretty stoked. So it's my first time actually even doing anything like this. So please forgive me.
No, you're totally fine. We're just chit chatting away.
That's
And we're
super.
also expecting Rachel soon. She's having a little bit of Wi-Fi issues, but she should be popping on soon, hopefully. If not, we'll hopefully get her introduced to you guys another time. But fingers crossed that she gets to hop on with us. Okay, let's see what's going on today. Also, any of you viewers that are hopping on live with us, you can leave comments. I will go through the comments. If you have absolutely anything to say, if you have a story related to it, if you just want to talk to another person and give advice to somebody else that's in the comments, totally fine. Whether you want to disagree, agree, anything like that, add it, feel free. I might not read it right away, but I will go through and make sure that we shout out who's here. I actually can't see who's viewing unless you comment. So I would really, really love when you guys leave a comment for us so I can shout you out, so I can tell you how much I appreciate your guys' support. Thank you. Okay, so our first question today is going to be, how was the first year for you? So, how are you coping with your injury? Anything significant happened? So, let's go with Tammy. So, how was your first year?
My first year was awful. I was obviously at 17, your self-image and your ego is kind of everything, and to have something so life-altering as paralysis happen to you, it turned my world upside down. I was very insecure. I was self-conscious. Like I came home and 2 days later was my 18th birthday. I crapped myself, like getting transferred to my chair, and I just cried the
Mm-hmm.
whole time. And I laid in bed for 7 days a week for about like 4 years before I, you know, had any hope within me.
Mm-hmm.
So it was pretty
Did
rough
you
the
have
first.
any problems going in and out of the hospital, with your breathing? How did you adapt to that? Was it hard for you in the beginning?
Not trouble breathing, but I had chronic UTIs, and that's what drove me to get my suprapubic catheter because it wasn't worth it for me to be self-conscious anymore watching my mom sleep on a metal chair because I was too insecure to where a pee bag, and it just wasn't worth it
Mhm.
for me. So I was just like, give me the tube, and it has been the most like wise choice I've ever made at such a
Do
young
you feel
age.
like it was a big confident boost for you?
Um, I've learned how to, yeah, over the years, I think it's just an attachment that I don't really notice anymore. It only bothers me when I can't wear clothes the way I used to, but I've gotten pretty good at rigging it where I can wear what I like and make it work and pee at the same time.
Great, great. Love that. Okay, let's go to Janine. So, how was the first year for you, love?
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to agree with Tammy. It sucked. It was awful. Um, just going, from being independent and your daily life, like just switches up. You're like, okay, what do I do now? Just adapting to a bowel program. It's like, okay, what's a bowel program? So you mean someone's got to help me take a shit every single day for the rest of my life? Like, okay, like how am I going to get through this? Just like Tammy said, having accidents, coping through that is so tough and embarrassing, especially when you're in public. Um,
Mhm.
but I mean, as long as you have the right support and reaching out to other people who are in your situation, it's definitely helped me out so much. Um, just like you said, just the mental part of it for the first year was so tough. Just getting to know this new life that I'm going to have to live and adapting to new ways of, putting your makeup on or even picking up a cup or just the simplest things in life that people take for granted. You're like, okay, so
Mhm.
now finding new ways to adapt, and it's like, okay, well, I'm kind of getting back to what I used to do, but just in a different kind of way. Definitely helps out. So now going on to my second year, I think I've came such a long way, like mentally and physically. And yeah, the first year is definitely like the hardest for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like the first 2 years I was extremely, extremely depressed, and the accidents, of course, is so hard. I mean, even as a woman, it makes you feel so disgusting, and then especially because you're taught that that's something that you do privately, and it's supposed to be hidden away from everything. And all of a sudden, it's just like shoved in everybody's face, and it kind of sucks. It's like your butt is literally being shown to everyone, and it is embarrassing. It is like a huge knockdown, and you can get in your head really easily. It's very easy to get stuck in your head and tell yourself these things that are not true because that's all it's the only thing you can relate it to, like, so I think that's so hard. Okay, let's see. Rachel's still having problem with her Wi-Fi. I'm super sad about that. I was excited to talk to her
Oh,
today. um but okay, let's keep on going. So, Tammy, did you have your family caring for you, or a caregiver?
At first, it was family, and then it was more caregivers because everyone had to work, and my sister was in college. And
Mhm.
then maybe around like 10 years, I feel like my life started to calm down and my care was more in the hands of family. And yeah, and it was
So in the
it was
beginning, yeah, it was difficult in the beginning, like having your family members. That's exactly where I was going to go with that. How did that affect your relationship with them? Feeling like all of a sudden, they're needing to do everything. You're having to ask. Like, was that a big reason why it took you so long to feel better about it, or how do you think that affected your
um
recovery?
my my injury actually brought my family closer, but it made me more withdrawn where I didn't know how to advocate for myself. Like I was just really in my head. It's to the point where I didn't know my list of medications, what time to take it, because I wasn't used to being around the clock meds, ever in my life.
Mhm.
And so I lacked like self-awareness and the ability to advocate for myself. So I guess you can say that I was a lot more sheltered where I got comfortable with people taking care of me. And then it took me a couple of years to break out of it and really learn
Mhm.
how to. Oh, when I started being kind of like pawned off to caregivers because everyone was trying to make ends meet. that's when I really had to learn how to advocate for myself and went through a
Mhm.
lot of like neglect and emotional abuse with caregivers.
Mhm. Yeah, I think it's so easy to get angry, especially when you're dealing with family members. Like, it's easy to snap at them. In the beginning, I had my boyfriend taking care of me. And then, about like 2 years in, I had my mom taking care of me for a while. And I kind of realized, like, no matter who's taking care of me, like, the shit sucks. I have to be very
Yeah.
open. I have to be very, like, um, you know, make sure that I'm calming myself down, that I'm not getting irritated, that I'm not overthinking it, because my mom would be like huffing and puffing around and I'd be like, okay, like just leave me here. Like, I don't need your help, like it would make me want to snap back at them and like kind of
Yeah.
cause a conflict, definitely. And it's like, why
Yeah.
can't you just do A, B, and C so simply? Like, don't put my leg like that. Don't do that, So it's snapping, but it's like, how are they supposed to know how to do it? They're all new to this too. They're trying to,
Yeah,
so be
definitely.
patient with your family members. So, do you have any tips when dealing with family members and then when dealing with caregivers that you hire?
For family, I do realize that for my mom, because there's a culture barrier, I do have to break it down and communicate like calmly. And I do have to explain it over and over again because it's just boundaries and culture barrier. And as for caregivers, I've learned that when you first hire them on, the tone that you set in the beginning, the way you advocate for yourself and how friendly you allow it to be in the beginning sets the tone for the rest of the time. Like I've made it too comfortable where they walked all over me and they took advantage of me. So now I'm very big on privacy and boundaries and let them know in the beginning that I hire caregivers to help me with to assist me with things that I'm not able to do, but please don't interfere, don't overtalk me, don't speak for me, and things like that.
Yeah, I think that is very important. Drawing boundaries and making that very aware in the beginning. I think also something that you've mentioned is making a checklist for what you
Yes.
want and what you need. I think that's such great advice and so important as well.
Mhm.
Um, how about you, Janine? How do you have family caring for you, or do you have a caregiver?
So at first, it was a little bit a mixture of both. So when I was first released out of the hospital, I had a best friend that I grew up with, and I actually trained her from scratch on everything from transferring to bowel program because I literally didn't have anybody. I didn't get accepted for Medicaid because at the time I was working and you can only make so much money for the year or blah blah blah. So they were like, no, you can't get Medicaid. So basically everything I was paying out of pocket for until I was broke, and then I got accepted for Medicaid, and then new caregivers came in from like a home care agency, which going back to Tammy's subject of allowing them to know like what you can and can't do or setting the tone, because they will run over you, they will take advantage of your situation. And if you just, like you said, get a list and just kind of mold them from scratch, like straight from the get go, things
Yeah.
would go a lot smoother. And that's kind of what I've been learning the past year and a half now is
Mm-hmm.
advocating for yourself and your directive care because your life's in their hands. It's important. So, um, yeah, I mean, usually I have my son, he's 13 years old. He helps me out here and there if I don't have a caregiver to get into bed or whatnot. But
Mm-hmm.
it's tough. It's tough to find a good
Mm-hmm.
CNA. Like I tell everyone, it's when you lose a good CNA, it's worse than a breakup. No doubt about that.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
it is tough. Like it's like, no, she called in today. Like, what am I gonna do? Um, just some tips out there.
Mm-hmm.
I would just make sure you get good resources of good home care agencies and just always have a backup and just know your resources around you because I literally learned everything from scratch, like on my own or learning the hard way or word of mouth. And so just kind of educate yourself if you're in that situation. If you're new to it,
Mm-hmm.
just take advantage of any resources that you can, any help, because it's tough. Because when you're first out, you're like, no, I got this. I think I'm okay. And it's like, no, you don't. You don't know what the hell you're doing. It's totally different now. So, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
no, I just educate yourself on the resources around you. But
Yeah, I think
caregiving,
that's so important. That's great advice. And how was it for you having your child help you? Like you going from that. So were you just okay with it from the beginning, or did you have to go through a process where, you were depressed about it, or your mental health? Like how did that really affect you from you going to being the caretaker, to then needing him to be a caregiver for you and need to help you out on things? How was that for you?
it was super tough. I mean, like I said, being a mom, working 8 hour shift, going to the grocery store, coming home and cooking, and then it's swapped around. Now my son makes dinner for me sometimes, and he's doing all of that. I mean, it was tough. He definitely went from a childhood to being an adult, basically. And so we definitely had some struggles mentally with him adjusting with everything. Um, but now that we're working through it and finding easier ways, he's kind of like, okay, this is the situation. Mom needs help. And, you
Oh,
know, it is what it is. We
it's
got
just
to
the
do
way
it.
it
We
is.
got to,
Yeah.
we got to do it.
Kids,
We got to do it
they
and make it
adapt.
work. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So,
think a lot of people, new moms, are so afraid of this. I mean, I get asked it all the time, and it's like, I know that it feels so horrible for you to feel like, oh, I'm failing my child, like what an ugly feeling. But a lot of times it's your own, voice inside your head that's giving you and feeding you this. And more times than not, if you set a schedule for your child and you put them up to these are the new normal and this is just the way it is, they'll adapt, and they'll go about it. And if you just be open with your child and talk to them about how they're feeling, it could go a long way. It could help out a lot,
yeah,
the relationship. And I
definitely
think sometimes
communication
people
is
are
key.
scared to lean on their children. What were you saying, Mel?
Oh, I was going to say communication is definitely key for our situation. We just need to speak up more and
Hmm.
just, a lot of us shelter it in and we don't want to speak up because we're so independent. And it's like, no, we need the help. Give me some help.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a very important balance. I always talk about it, a balance of help, asking for help and doing things yourself, because just like both of you guys said, it's really easy to get caught up in letting people do things for you, and not learning how to do it and not learning how to find different ways and really struggling. That beginning year is how learning how to do things and learning how to different ways, trial and error, and it sucks sometimes when we're watching newly injured people come up and they're just like, oh, like when am I going to get there, and it's like you have to take it day by day,
Oh, yeah.
moment by moment, thing by thing, and just give up. I realized that I was saying I cannot, I can't, and then finally I was like, okay, new rule, not allowed to say I can't unless I really physically cannot do this, like I need to make sure I'm trying at least almost 10 plus times. And I found out that it's like I found ways to do it really easily. It was just like I was stuck on doing it one way in my head, so I felt like there was no other way to do it, but you'd be surprised. Okay, let's see what's going on in the chat. We have a super sticker from Ben. Thank you, Ben, for always supporting us. We appreciate you so, so much. And Peter, of course, making fun of Ben. Just kidding. um, and he gave us another $5 too. Being put in a chair definitely teaches mental toughness. That's so true. I think it has made me stronger in so many different aspects of my life, and that's why when I get asked that question of, like would I go backwards, it did take me a while to get there, but it's like no, like the way that I view life now, the way I go about life, the way that, I know what it's like to struggle so I can appreciate those small moments that mean things in life, like I can't replace it. Like, nah, this shit ain't easy. No, I don't wish it upon anybody. No, I wouldn't choose it for my life, but it is what it is. So it's like, I got to keep on living. I got to make the best of it today, and I think that mindset's so, so important to adapt, but of
Oh,
course
yeah,
not easy.
definitely.
Um, what's going on here? Oh, Rachel, are you on? Is that yours, Carmen Alexa? You can, yeah, she said, sorry, my internet is being shitty. That's okay, love. We really hope that you can get on soon. If you want to answer in the chat box any questions or add any thoughts throughout this, Rachel, then I'll make sure to go through and read it out for you. Okay. So if you want to do that, totally fine. If not, if it's too hard, don't even trip about it. We'll make sure to get you on soon. But thank you for joining on, love. Um, Ben, I'm hard headed. I got paralyzed and moved to the country by myself and taught myself how to be in a chair and care for myself. It's not easy. Yeah, it's definitely can put yourself in a tough situation. Some people completely give up and some people suffer more than they need to, because like we talked about, that balance is so important. So it's like when we finally get to that little bit of independence, we're like, don't worry, we got this, and we're so it's we want to prove that so bad that we don't let ourselves breathe a little bit. And honestly, you're doing the opposite effect of what you're going out for.
Right.
It's better to listen to your body, and realize that it's okay to ask for help, and that the majority of people, they would prefer you to ask for it. I think a lot of times we feel like a burden. We feel like we don't even want to bother people and stuff like that. um but that's just a barrier we got to cross. I mean, if those people are being dickheads, then it's just like those are the type of people that is. Create a new support system. Don't lock yourself away, because I think that also causes a lot of battle with your own head. You have to have some wheel buddies to be like, hey, am I tripping right now? What should I do in this situation? And your wheel friends will set you straight every single time. So I think that it's very important to be involved in the community, even if it's online, and just be like, let's talk it out. Have you ever went through this? Whatever it is. Okay, that's all we have for that. Okay. So afterwards, did your friends learn what you would need to go out, or did a lot of them keep helping you, or did they feel overwhelmed? Let's talk about that. So Tammy, you were very young. So how was that? You were inside of school, and were did you want them to learn how to care for you? Did you want them to leave you alone? How was that?
Um, Me being insecure and like feeling ashamed of my situation, my school was actually very supportive. Like too many people came to the point where I would feign asleep. I would pretend I was asleep just to
Uh-huh.
avoid. I think it was a mixture between like shame and also too many people. But my closest friends were trained like how to transfer me. Um, I used to take my suppository to my friend's house and just insert it, lay on her bed, poop, and we'll just sit there and talk. And she'll just throw my bowels away in between. I've gotten really comfortable. Like there's a sense of dignity that I've learned throughout this injury, and like bowels and bladder is not foreign to me anymore. It's very
Mhm.
humanistic. But yeah, early on I did
How
train
long did
my
it take you to get that way, to feel that way about your bowels and bladder?
probably like around 8 years. Yeah. I know with friends and family, probably like earlier, but I
Mhm.
stopped caring less around like 5 to like 8 years. I think there's so much going on that shit like that was like minuscule in my life.
Uh-huh,
Yeah.
uh-huh. You're just
Yeah.
like, "It is what it is." Like, that's what I gotta do, to get through
Yeah.
the day, and you
Yeah.
become more
Not
comfortable.
important.
Definitely. Was literally, like, crying hysterically the first time that I used the bathroom in my PT. I was still inside of rehab, and I
Yeah.
remember, like, literally screaming. They were, like, cleaning me up, and, like, another nurse was like, "Is she okay? Like, is she cut somewhere?" And they're like, "You need to calm down, like, you're freaking out right now." I was, like, acting like if I was stabbed. Like, it's so humiliating. I don't know if, like, people that are able-bodied can even imagine that. It's like literally being in the middle of a store and just pooping your pants, and everybody knowing that you're pooping your pants right there in the middle of the store. Like, that's how you feel. Like, that's how, like, you feel like everybody's staring at you, it smells, all these different things you're worried about. And you can't just lock it away in the bathroom as easily. So it's very
Yeah.
hard to go through. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's super,
I think I
super
haven't had
important.
many
So,
accident issues too.
mhm,
Like I'm one of the fewer quads where I haven't had many accident issues.
mhm.
Like probably count on one hand or less how many times I had accidents, but
Hmm.
maybe it's just like the suppository I switched to as well for
Hmm.
Magic Bullet. Yeah.
And do you feel like your need for like having those relationship and friendships like triumphed, the amount of worry that you felt over bowels and bladder? Do you feel like you were longing for friendships? That's why you kind of like let that caring go out the window, or it's just you became more confident?
Their support made me feel confident, but I think at the same time, I lost my sense of identity because I didn't go anywhere without my friends. I didn't feel comfortable without them. So I felt like I needed them. And I also put up with things that I shouldn't have because I felt like I needed them. So on one spectrum, it only made me feel secure if they were around. But without them, I felt like I needed them. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, that's definitely touchy. How about you, Janine? How was it for your friends? So you said that your best friend was one of your caregivers, like in the beginning. So was it just her that you were open with, or was it like a group of friends that you allowed around you, or how do you really feel about that? What was your journey?
So going back to like being new to all of that, I really just had her, and then my son's dad at the time was actually helping me as well. So I only had those two who knew how to do my bowel program. Um, and I was, at first you're just like, okay, like what to me? Okay. But no,
Mm-hmm.
we totally got used to it. Um, just like you said, over time, you just adapt to it. And then before you know it, it's just normal. And then,
Hmm.
like you said, you're like, okay, well, I need to have my bowel program today. I want it. Like, don't miss it. I need it today. Like, so it was tough at first, but I mean, you just get used to it. If they're there for you and if they're there to support you, then it shouldn't bother them like it bothers you, you know?
Did it make you push away the friends that you weren't comfortable with doing that stuff with? Like, were you hesitant to like go out, and have them transfer you and like do things that you used to do? Did it make you like more want to stay inside just in your comfort zone?
Oh, absolutely. I didn't want to go anywhere. I mean, this year, I barely started now to
Hmm.
experience more like out in public and going out to bars and restaurants and that sort of thing. Just the fear of everyone staring at you or just the comments people say just kind of like really sheltered me. And I was like, I don't want to go outside and deal with any of that. I just want to stay in my hole in my room and just cry.
Hmm.
But then once I started getting used to it and talking to other people, I'm like, screw this. And then my friends were like, girl, you need to get your ass out there. Like, you're still beautiful. Like, you don't need to feel that way. There's people out there that will
Hmm.
help you and accept you for who you are. And so I was like, okay, you're right. And once I started getting out more, I'm like, okay, um, I'm getting a little bit used to this. It's not as bad. But I really don't have too many friends here that I go out with. I really only have maybe like one close friend and then two really good CNAs that get me out of the house. So I'm now still learning how to explore the outside and getting around and learning that
Uh-huh.
all these places that I love are not even accessible. And that's where your friends come in. It's like, okay, you're going to be able to pick my wheelchair up and get me into this bar. And it's like, okay, let's do
Yeah.
this. Like, yeah. So, you just got to go with it and just be more open. And like you said, learn, educate more friends or get to know more people and teach them about it. And
Hmm.
that's what I'm trying to do now is put myself
Hmm.
out there, meet new people and say, hey, do you want to learn how to slide board? Let's do this. Like, you know.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's so important to take that ignition, and take that first step or roll forward to really have that confidence to teach them and to tell them, hey, I know this is scary. I'm scared too, but it's going to be okay. Like, let's do this. Like, I really realized that when my confidence grew, that their confidence grew. That was with family and friends, and the more I was like open, like, hey, like, and I wasn't excluding myself, that I could be like more included, but the beginning, it's definitely hard because, you're in your head so much and you just don't feel confident. My anxiety got through the roof. Like, I had bad mental health before my injury, but after my injury, my mental health was just horrible. So I would remember trying to go out with my old friends and just feeling ugly, remembering who I used to be, remembering what I used to be able to do, feeling like they couldn't go somewhere because, I had to be transferred in and out, whatever it is. And also, I think that people don't realize that it's an experience, a new experience every single time we go out in public. Like we have to, run into obstacles every single time we go out. It's not something that we just get used to and then there, it's great. It's like, no, we have to plan. We have to make sure our head is straight. We have to stay motivated. We have to stay focused, and still a million things go wrong during our days. It's not easy. And I don't think that really our friends understand that. And I don't think we know how to explain that to them. So I stopped being able to show up to the parties like I always was, and stopped being able to be there all the time. And then it just made me feel like they felt like, I don't know. I was so much in my head. Who knows? I don't want to go on this roller coaster of feelings. But yeah, I think it's just important to remind them that it's going to be a process and that it's going to be new, but once you guys learn how to do things, it's going to be your guys' new normal, and it's going to be an adventure, but know that it's better living life and going about life than stay inside of your room, inside of your bubble, because you're alive.
Yeah.
God kept you alive, and it's like we can't just lay there and give up on life because it would be the same thing as if we had passed away. No, we need to live life. We need to smile in the world. We need to, keep on going and live out our passions and our dreams, and go on our paths of where we're supposed to go. You kind of stop your blessings when you stop yourself, continue on. And I think about it all the time because I remember laying there. I remember how depressed I feel. I remember not wanting to live, and I think I could have stayed there forever if I didn't get that little motivation push.
Yeah. Any little thing, just keep yourself busy. Like plan your day,
Hmm.
do anything, like distract yourself. Like I said, like I would spend 3 hours in the bathroom trying to figure out how to put my makeup on. And I'm like, I'm gonna
Hmm.
do this. Like I gotta do something. I'm gonna go plant something. I'm gonna try to cook an egg. Like,
Hmm.
keep yourself busy and
Try. That's so important.
well,
Like
you know,
definitely, um, don't give up on that part because it's just like you kind of feel like it's easy to list all the things you no longer can do after your injury. And most of those things you can do, but you just have to do differently now, so you
right.
have to change that like kind of perception inside your head, I think. Um, so Tammy, what's the hardest task for you to grasp, getting the hang of, and what is still your least favorite to do?
The task,
Yeah.
I well, can you give an example? There's so many
Like,
tasks.
was it really hard for you to learn how to brush your teeth? Was it really hard for you to do your makeup? Like, what tasks did you have to keep on going at? And was just really hard for you to get down those tips and tricks that you now know with all your advanced, wisdom of the over the years, like all the things that you have learned that have now gotten easier, but in the beginning was just hell for you.
Mm, for sure,
Maybe
makeup.
showering.
Yeah, for sure, makeup, and I think the ability to coordinate my life and pre-planned, like coordinate schedule and just advocate for myself. Like I can see what the next week, how I want to plan
Uh-huh.
it, what days are coming, but just self accountability. It was really
Hmm.
difficult for me in the beginning, and even being like outspoken and right drawing boundaries was difficult for me because I was like a blob with like just a jellyfish. Like yeah, I had zero sense of like boundaries.
Hmm.
Yeah, so lots of
Yeah.
trials and tribulations.
Definitely, that's hard. And what's now still your least favorite thing to do, or the thing that you're just like, not my favorite, no matter what tools or tasks that I mean, tools or tips that you have are is a little bit more difficult for you.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's a task, but my left arm, it's so difficult. I have one weaker arm and it's in
Hmm.
a lot of pain and it's I never remember to use it. I can move it a lot more than I can use to. It used to just sit there dead for like 10 years, but now I can move it, but it's just it's so hard in it to coordinate with both arms. And
So you have to remind yourself to constantly be using the arm and exercising it. I think that that's really important because we kind of get in our comfort zone. It's almost like doing pressure reliefs, like learning how to do that. It's like a program that you have to like learn
yeah,
and teach yourself to do.
yep,
Yeah, I think that's so true. Having to learn how to manage your life and learn how to like remember that you need catheters, you need water, you need this, you need that. You need to make sure that you're making your calls, your appointments, that you have your medicine down, that everything's straight, your tires are pumped up. There's a million things. You're drinking too much, so much water. So you don't get a UTI. It's like a thousand things, and it's very hard from going to just like waking up and almost by memory getting ready, by memory taking a shower, by memory being able to just get up and go to into the car so freely and easily. I
yeah,
don't think people understand how hard it is to have to be plan each part of your day to make sure you're going to places that are accessible. Make sure that you're having help if you need help around you. Make sure other people are free to help you out. It's just like so much coordination that is very hard and is very important to learn. Start
yeah,
making lists. Anybody new out there, make your list. Try to get your routine down now because that is so important. Plan an hour ahead. I always, if I got to be somewhere by 11, in my head, I got to be there at 10. And still, I'm
yeah.
running late sometimes, just to be honest. No. So plan ahead, definitely. What about you, Janine? What was the hardest task for you to get the hang of?
Like you were saying, like weight adjustments, weight shifts. So when I was first out, I was actually in a power chair for about 3 months. And then at that time, COVID was going on. So I didn't have any physical therapy, any occupational therapy. I was just like on my own, stuck at home. And so I was like, you know what? Screw this. I'm going to put my ass in this manual wheelchair and I'm going to wheel my way around my apartment and I'm going to get stronger. And so that was my physical therapy all day. But then I was like, shit, well, how am I going to do a weight shift? I can't recline. I can't push myself up out of the seat. So that was really tough. Doing my own weight shifts, just trying to make sure I didn't get any pressure sores. Luckily, I never did. But once I got the hang of physical therapy and working and getting an exercise regimen down, um, I got the strength to finally now do my own weight shifts in my own manual wheelchair. I can push myself out. I can do half of my transfers now, which is great. So, yeah, I mean, that was
Would
definitely
you
hard
mind
for
giving
me.
us a little example of how you now learned how to do your weight shift? Because I know that's a big problem for a lot of newly injured girls doing it. So is it like
Yeah.
leaning to the side? What do you do?
So I'm a fidgeter. I fidget all day. Even before my accident, I was just constantly just moving always. And so, yeah, just I would just lift my legs up, lean side to side, just try to see if you can lift one leg up at a time. Just leaning far forward. That's my best thing is leaning as far forward. I lean against the bed and just kind of just do a little stretch. That definitely helps out a lot. So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
I think having another surface sometimes to like lean onto and hold onto while you're doing it can definitely be helpful.
leaning on the
And
couch.
sometimes it kind of makes you feel like abnormal at first because it's like I don't know. I would get very nervous to do it in front of my able-bodied like group of people if I was the only person because it just brings a lot of attention to you. And 9 times out of 10, they ask me if I'm okay, and I'm like, yes, I'm okay. Just doing
Always.
pressure relief.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
don't
Yeah,
mind me.
that's a big one. I did this
For
the other
real.
night, actually. I was doing that in my chair and I was video chatting my mom, and she was like, "Where did you go?" She thought I fell out of my wheelchair. And I was like, "Oh, I'm right here, mom. Just doing a little stretch." And she started crying. I'm like, "I'm okay, mom. I'm just doing a weight shift. Calm down." Like you
Mhm.
said, 9 times out of 10, usually they ask if everything's okay.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah,
definitely. But don't
yeah,
let that stop you because pressure reliefs are so important. Our skin is constantly going to be weighing down from the moment that you're injured. And it's just important to stay moisturized, make sure that you're doing your pressure reliefs, and be very cautious of your skin tearing, being on hard surfaces. I think it's one of the most hardest things to really get down as a newly injured. I think a lot of people really have a hard time just mentally telling themselves to do it in the beginning.
right.
So just a little reminder that's very important. Um, Rachel said, "Tell me, did you get your tray closed up more?" I'm not sure who she's talking to. Are you talking to Janine Love?
Maybe me. I
Um,
haven't.
is can you do that?
I guess so, but for me, no. I think it bothers a lot of people and they're insecure about it, but I used to be, and then I don't really care anymore. The nurse
Uh
tore
huh.
mine. Notice right here? She fucking tore it. She pulled on it
Oh.
too hard. And like this is when I had the trach in and I couldn't talk. And they're really rough and half-assed in there. They she pulled it and it went sideways. So yeah.
Jesus, yeah, I think that it is a lot of people are insecure about it, and it's one of those things like confident boosters that you just have to realize it makes you unique. You know, it's like a beauty mark. You know, it's just like you have to appreciate your scars on your body, and um, I'm not saying that it's the easiest thing to do, but every single day you look in the mirror, you tell yourself that you're beautiful. You tell yourself that you are unique. You know, and the more you tell yourself, you know, one day you fake it till you make it, and you just got it. You know, and you're not even double thinking about it anymore. And I think that's so important. Um,
Yeah.
some people get, you know, their tattoos or like piercings or like other things to like make them more decorative. But it's all up to you. I mean, I think it just takes time in the beginning because it's like so in your face. So it's like something that for years, you know, Rachel, you specifically for 21 years, you looked at yourself without this hole, you know, and all of a sudden you have it in your face every single time you look at yourself and you're just like annoyed, you know, it's easy to nitpick. All of us can nitpick about things that we dislike ourselves. Girls want to
Yeah.
change their nose, they want to change their lips, they want to change their whole face, you know. We are constantly want to alter and be more beautiful, and it's so important to go through the motions and kind of really accept yourself. Self love is the most important type of love. And how
Oh
can
yeah.
you expect other people to accept you and love you if you don't love yourself? You know, so I think it's so, so important, not just for us newly injured people and us going through this injury. It's hell of important for us, but regardless, people, able bodied girls go through this. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
able bodied girls look at themselves in the mirror and hate themselves. You know,
Yeah.
it's common. So it's just you have to do the self work to make sure that you progress from that and that you work on it and grow, because it is possible to change your mindset.
Oh
um
yeah.
okay, Tammy, so what has your PT journey been like? So were you like right into PT, or it took you a while to get into it, and like what do you really feel like changed the most
Yeah.
from
So
being
like
a
I,
PT nurse?
I was like in bed for 4 years, 7 days a week because I was so depressed. And then I saw a former friend of mine who went to this physical therapy center that I currently go until today. I saw like the potential. I saw that this is where like life kind of breathed hope and confidence back in me. It was not easy by any means, and it was not easy on the pockets, but it really taught me how to like fundraise, and it was like it was an outlet for me to look forward in life. So yeah, it has. I was never this strong. Like I don't have a headrest anymore, and my backrest lowered. I regained a lot. I mean, I used to
Mhm.
kind of move my left arm and hold my neck up straight. So it's been
Yeah, I think in the beginning it's easy to relate PT to walking. Like we're going to physical therapy so that we can walk again. And
yep.
we have to kind of change it to be like, no, it's to make you stronger. It's to make your daily life and your daily tasks easier. You know, you can do things better. You know, you didn't have to use your arms the same way that now you have to use them. So you have to build up that muscle again. You know, you have to make your core strong. You have to do all these different things to really, really work hard so that you can do the simplest things independently and more easier throughout your life. So PT is very important. Um, and now, and like you said, just like it is hard on the pocket. So you're somebody that I love to send to newly injured girls, because I think you show a lot of like adaptive home stuff. And I think that that's really important, because don't let yourself just wither away. Like, nah, we got to try. We have to try different ways to do this. We can't give up, you know? So, what really made you want to start doing that, like doing home stuff? Was it?
Um, when I started hiring home trainers, it's cheaper and you kind of work with what you have at home. So they taught me to get creative, and the more you understand your body muscle groups and whatnot, you kind of find outlets to adapt. And the trade-off of not being at a physical therapy center is that I can't get out of my chair like into like large expensive devices that they carry.
Mhm.
So yeah, I learned a lot of just adapting and working in my manual, just like Janine did. My manual chair is basically an exercising machine for me. It's the greatest outlet. And I
Yeah.
pushed my chair every Tuesday. After 8 years, I was finally able to push myself, and I devoted myself to every Tuesday, every week, to push around the mall, and that's truly what skyrocketed my progress.
I love that. Little goals. Over time, those little goals create a magical effect, you know?
Yeah.
Definitely. So, how about you, Jamie? What was your PT journey like? So, you're really new. So, did you, you said that you didn't go into PT, right?
Right. So when I was released, like I said, COVID was going on. So I wasn't able to go anywhere. And then they weren't able to have anyone come into the home. So, yeah, my manual wheelchair was basically my exercise machine for about 3 to 4 months till PT finally was able to come in and start helping me. And then, yeah, within 2 years, I went from a C4 to now I'm a C6 quad. So just working 3 to 4 times out of the week, um, about an hour and a half to 2 hours a day, definitely helped out. I mean, like Tammy was mentioning, going from a trach to not being able to breathe, or from a G tube even not being able to eat. Now you can, it's crazy what physical therapy can do. Like you mentioned, it's not, people think like to walk again. It's like, no, it's to help you gain your daily routine and tasks again. And it's like, holy shit, I can brush my teeth today. Like, thank you. Like, I can lift my
Mhm.
arm up. I can
Yeah, the
scratch my
little things become
arm.
easier to do. You don't even realize it, you know, and like how disabled you feel when your body's aching in pain, you know. And I think in the beginning, it just made me feel more disabled. I felt more, it was shoving everything I couldn't do in my face. And every single time I completed a new task, they would shove something else in my face. And I was like, I can't freaking do this, you know? And it made me so frustrated. And I just remember totally like rejecting the idea because I was like, you know what? If I'm going to walk, I'll walk. But like, that's honestly not the way that works out. You know, PT is very important, just to put that out there. So, yeah, if you can't go to some place because it is so expensive and all these things, find different ways. Now, especially during COVID, tons of people put different exercises and different ways to do things inside of your wheelchair. So just try to message different people and see how they maybe do things, you know, or what they learned inside of their therapy sessions that you can, I can't think, like replace, it with somebody else and something else inside of your house and do it like more easily.
Right.
Um so yes. Okay, so our last question, what is your favorite quad tool for each room in your house? Or your most helpful tools, whichever one. So Tammy, you did send me pictures. Sean, were we able to show her pictures up? Or were we not able to do that? Let's see. We will find out shortly, guys. Sean is our mysterious little fairy in the background. Fairy was probably not the best term, huh, Sean? Sorry.
Very.
Okay. So let's see. We'll wait for that. So for now, I mean, you can just kind of talk about it, Tammy. So what have over the times have your favorite tools? What's the most helpful for you? What's your daily must-haves?
So if you can see in the background, I have a computer table there. That one angles down so that if I'm laying in bed and I'm laying flat or whatever, yeah, you can tilt it down and you can extend it higher or lower. And do you notice how there's only one skinny leg at the bottom rather than two? For those who are
Mm-hmm.
using power chairs or even a manual, you're able to shove that between the two front wheels. And you can find this on Amazon. I'll send Sean like the links and stuff like that later on. And then I also didn't I forgot to send you a picture, but I have an electronic rising table. You can find them on Amazon. It's touchscreen, so for quads, it's adjustable and it's electronically ran, and you just set it up. And some comes with baskets and stuff like that. Mine comes with drawers, and
Oh,
yeah, so that's how I use
yeah,
my
that's
table.
super helpful.
Yeah, and for I know for power chair users, we're always at different. heights and our blood pressure and whatnot. So this table has been really beneficial for me. And then the next one is I have a beauty blender. You know, with our quad paws, it's really hard to use um, like makeup devices. And this is from LC Cosmetics. If you notice, there's a ridge in the middle. It fits right into, you know, where our thumb and our index finger is. I think I sent you guys a picture too of me holding it. And when I use it to kind of pat it on my face and blend out my foundation, it's not constantly falling. Yeah, like that. It's not constantly falling like, you know, other beauty
Mhm.
blenders. Use it to squeeze. And then uh, I've also sent a high voltage plug that comes with a controller. I'm a cold quad, so I run cold all the time. I use my heater, and you want to make sure that you plug this your heater into a high voltage plug because you don't want to burn your house down. The controller allows me to use it from my bed, or even right now I'm sitting at the table. You know, I can turn it off and on anywhere. And when I travel and I bring my heater, I bring this plug as well because it gives me the freedom to turn it off and on without asking for any of
Mhm.
my caregivers. And
I
yeah,
love that.
That's
That's
genius.
so great. Yeah, I think that was the last one that you sent in. Those are fantastic, and I think that another one that you mentioned in a previous show that you've been on that I really like are those squeezy tubes, the one that you use in the showers.
yeah,
Um,
they're
what are that now?
silicone from Amazon. Yeah, so and there's a flip cap so that you can just bite it open, turn it around, squeeze into your hands. And I also have a collapsible shower caddy because all my bottles are in there, and I can just put on my mitten and bite the cap open and squeeze it in by mouth and just wash myself. And it allows me to apply the shampoo in my head, lather it, and then have my caregiver scrub. So this is what I mean, where I try to get it to where I can do most of the work, and then my caregiver assists me with the things that I can't do and finish
Hmm.
up the job for
I
me.
love that so much. I think it's so important. And I think that it's really, I think tools kind of make us feel more disabled. Like, oh, we have to use all these things. We have to use a freaking wheelchair. We have to use a grabber, like all this shit. But it's like, this helps you become more normal. This helps you become more normal overall and help you go about your day without having those thoughts inside of your head. You know, it's
Yeah.
like your tools just help make your life better. That's what they are, tools, right? You know, it's like you wouldn't be ashamed if you're working on something for having to use a wrench or having to use a hammer. You're not going to like struggle with, you know, a feather. Like, no, it's like, no, I need what I need. You know, it's like that's my tool. So I think it's so important, if not to like look around on social media, because a lot of our community is very open with what they use. And Tammy has a lot of great stuff. She has a whole video where she does inside the shower. That's absolutely fantastic, and we've actually showed before on previous shows. And yeah, so look for different stuff. Amazon's a great way to be able to look to see what you need. Different people need different ridges. You need different suction cups. You need different stuff. You know, and of course, there's tons of different sites. You know, like the Ability Expo puts on a bunch of different tools and shares tools, new things that are coming out and stuff like that. So stay up to date. Another great thing that has tools, what is it called? New Mobility magazine. That
Oh yeah.
website is great, has great different tools, different stuff coming out, different people's stories. I always suggest that, to look that out for people. You can get it sent to your house, or you can look up online and bring up like the whole magazine. They do one each month. It's freaking fantastic. Love it. Okay, Janine. So, what are your favorite tools? So, you've been injured, fairly new, so I'm sure that you're on the look for a lot of tools. But so far, what has helped you in your journey?
Oh my gosh, the quad tool, my grabber is like my baby. That thing, oh my gosh, I'm just like, I take it with me everywhere in the house. But when I drop it, it's like the most annoying freaking thing because it's so loud. And everyone is like, can you just put that thing away already? I'm like, no, I need this. Like, goes with me everywhere. But yeah, my quad tool, my grabber is amazing. Um, that goes with me, like I said, everywhere. As
Mhm.
far
Or
as
were you
another,
able to purchase a regular grabber like on Amazon, or do you need a specific one for your hands? Like, are you able to actually grip it? Because I know a lot of quads have trouble gripping their
Yeah. So
grabbers?
I can't grip at all. So basically, my hands are,
Uh,
yeah, little T-Rex arms. My grabber's like right next to me. Hold on just a second and I can show you.
okay. Yeah.
All right.
Love that. Yeah, I think that's important. Grabbers are a lifesaver, definitely. I feel like before I like associate it with like old people needing it, but I'm like, no, I wish I had a grabber before my injury, man. Like that shit comes through.
Brianna, once I'm done
Yes.
showing it, I'm just gonna, I'll clock out since it's
Okay, all
sore.
right, yeah, we're just gonna finish up showing these tools and then we're
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
do you already want to say your NEPs or do you want to like wait a couple more minutes?
I can wait a couple more minutes.
Okay, no worries.
So yeah, I just have the regular quad tool. Looks like this.
Mm-hmm.
I have the long one because for longer reaches, of course.
Uh-huh.
Um, since I do not have any grasp, don't have a grasp, it just goes on your wrist. There
Oh,
you go.
love it. Oh, where
Oh
did
my,
you get that at?
I've seen
So
that. I
if
want.
yeah, so this guy actually is local here in Colorado. He was a patient at Craig Hospital and came up with this, and now he's a millionaire. So it's
Oh,
quadtools.com. It's amazing. They have cooking ware, everything. So it's all
love
for the
it.
teenagers. They have
Is it
tools for,
Mhm. Mhm.
but yeah, that thing is badass. My second thing that I use is it's a chi curling iron. I don't have it with me right now, but it just sucks up my hair and then you pull it out, curls your hair for you. Push of a button.
Oh,
It's super
great.
easy. Yeah, so I would definitely check out the Chi website or any like curling irons like that that are pretty easy and adaptive now. They're coming out with a lot of, you know, salon tools that you
Adaptive
can
tools. Yeah.
use locally. Yeah. So yeah, those
Mhm.
are
I
like
think
my favorite right
those are
now.
your favorite? Yeah. I love it. Yeah, it's so important getting ready and making sure that you're able to do what you could do before. I know doing your hair is a big thing for a lot of newly injured quads that I meet. You know, you can't get ready the way that you used to be able to get ready, which then, is the same thing. It's like that's your confidence level. That's where you feel like most like yourself, and it's like they just
Right.
kind of take away your comfort zone. And now you're not able to do it anymore, and it's like, and then it kind of puts you in that space where you don't realize how much you appreciated it, where how easy it was before, and it kind of that makes you a little bit more depressed because you're just like, fuck, like why not, but there's tools to help, so research and check out that quad tools website. I think that would be super super great, and reach out to people. I know that Rachel, you mentioned how hard it is to get a support system, and it definitely is hard. But I think it's something that you have to actively be trying to do. You can't just expect to a support system to go around you. Some people are very lucky that way, and they do have it right off the bat. But me, I really had to. Reach out, meet different people online, FaceTime with them, and like find the people that I relate to most, because not everybody you're going to relate to, not everybody you're going to want to be best friends with, just like in the regular world. It's like you're not going to just meet somebody off the street and then they're your best friend and you're going to tell them all your secrets. Like, no, you have to find things that relate, and sometimes it's not just as easy as your injury. So I would say don't give up. I know that you moved far away and that it's really hard for you, that you don't have all of us around like you used to. You used to be able to roll into a room and there was 20 plus of us there, and now you don't have that, so it's very excluded. But don't take social media or FaceTime or at least video chats for granted, because I feel like over time they do feel the same way, and you're able to loosen up and relate, and tell what's going on in your life, and don't feel like ever what you're going through is a burden on somebody else's life. I'm not going to say all your friends can be there for you 100%, but that doesn't mean that you give up. It's just making sure that you're getting that out, that you're having somebody to bounce those thoughts out of. And we usually say about like 3 people. Jessica, our therapist on our monthly shows, she told us that having about 3 people at least, whether it's family or friends, is the best way that you can share. So that is a healthy limit to have and really important. So yeah, just wanted to touch on that. So that's pretty much all that we have today for you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And if anybody's watching this after our live and you have any tools or any websites or anything like that that you can link below, please do, because there's a lot of newly people or people that have been injured for a while that really can benefit from this. And if you're just helping somebody life a little bit more better, then we really appreciate that from all our heart, because this is what this channel is all about for us. It's reaching other people and helping them on their journey. I think that that's so important to us. So yeah, please don't be shy. I try to get back to the comments when I see them. And yes, and so also let me say that we have new merch on the Live to Roll channel. Sorry, I feel like a robot when I'm ending these shows. I'm trying to like remember everything. um, our Live to Roll merch is on liveToroll.org. We have some wonderful women shirts that we have there that I actually designed. And so if you could support us there and go check those out. We also have other Live to Roll merch, hats, all kinds of stuff. That really helps us out so much. Continue these videos and really get the best quality out for you guys. So yeah, really appreciate that. Join us back every Tuesday for the guys show at 3:30. They're on with new topics. And then I am on every first and third Thursday with new topics as well. So make sure to come back. A third Thursday, I will be back this month. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much, ladies, again. I really appreciate you guys. Make sure that you guys follow them on their social media handles. Is there any last words that you guys want to say? Tammy, anything?
Um, I also am a spinoff of Sean and Brianna's amazing channel. I run a podcast called Resilient Women Wednesday Quadcast. Actually, it's going to be switched to certain days now since I have physical therapy on Wednesdays.
Mhm.
But I do run a quadcast as well, thanks to Sean and Brianna. So yeah,
Yes,
you
that's
can.
a great show. Go check that out. She has tons of information on her YouTube channel, on her Instagram. It's one of my absolute favorites to send out. So go and have a field day. You can scroll for hours on there, get tons of information. How about you, Janine? Any last words for you?
Yeah, check out the Instagram if you have any questions or anything like that. Reach out to me. I'm totally open book.
Thank you so much, loves. Make sure to join us back soon. Thank you so much, all our Live to Roll family. We appreciate you guys with all our heart. Bye.
Bye, guys.